2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion.
In the game of politics, it's all about money these days. The days of casting your votes via absentee ballot, mail-in ballot, dropping it off electronically, or going to a voting center is being overshadowed by the Electoral College, which then determines who that presidential candidate will be that will lead the country for the next 4 or potentially 8 years. What we're starting to see now is a class war, the classism era. There's always been a class war, but not as this prevalent, not this big in nature. We are seeing a time where folks are spending billions of dollars, individuals and corporations, to push an agenda, an ideology, something that they want to see for their corporation that will benefit them and their people and their elite groups. And we're seeing people like Chris Cuomo, who have always been one-sided on CNN for some time, calling out both sides of the wing. And just this year, we're potentially going to see over $10 billion spent on lobbying Congress, to where it doesn't matter what voters think. You think you're voting for Trump, you think you're voting for Kamala. You don't know who you're voting for. You don't know what's at stake. You don't see where the money's going. You have to watch where the money goes in order to kind of tell or give an idea of where the world is going to be next. So what we're about to listen to right now is a quick rant and stint by Chris and where he sees the future of economics and the future of America go. And right now, where it's going is in the pockets of the wealthy. And if you're not paying attention or doing your research, you're going to probably get left behind. Let's get into it.
The theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging, and they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the 2 sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here. Okay?
And while he's going into the reality is this. If you have money in 2024, there's a lot of things that's going to benefit you. If you don't have any money in 2024, there's a lot of things that's going to work against you. What you don't understand is when you hear the term tax the rich, it means tax the poor. Did you know that 2/3 of all income earners below $200,000 a year annualized are the ones being most audited by the IRS? And once you hit that $1 million mark, 80% of the audits don't even touch you. You're talking about those people get audited less than a fraction of the time. So when you hear we're going to deploy all these IRS agents to come out and tax the rich, who's going to a rich person's home or business to try to tax them, collect money from them? No, we get a CPA that's going to go in and deal with the books for us. If we have to pay more taxes, we just go buy another house and write the expenses off. If we make too much for 2024, all we do is we say, okay, let's say we have to pay a $50,000 tax bill going into next year. No, I'm going to buy another car into my LLC and I'm going to write it off, or I'm going to buy 2 homes or construct 2 homes and write it off and take that away from my income.
These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500, $700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true with the Republican side. And they're going to take them down. They're going to change how it is. They are looking down from on high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, They spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions. And that's success. A lot of it's small donor, a lot of it isn't. The most dangerous money in politics is now legal money because of Citizens United. You've got to know this. The idea that they can fight against it is almost laughable. It's almost laughable. So look and listen when you are told these things. Because I don't care what they promise you. Not here tonight, not at the RNC, not that Trump knows them, not that they don't own them. He did one of the biggest fundraisers I've ever heard of in my life out where I live. Millions of dollars a plate. That's the reality of politics.
That's what you call big bank takes little bank. And folks who have not been paying attention to the politics over the last 12 years, the last 8 years, but most critically, over the last 4 years, you will be left behind. Because you're going to make decisions that is going to work against you when you think it's going to benefit you. And that's when you're going to see it a real wake-up call. But whatever your thoughts, what do you think about the video? Do you think we're going into classism and we're moving away from racism? Do you think that big mega donors are the ones that's going to actually leave here laughing? Or is it going to be the voters who are going to stand up and protect themselves? Or do you believe that the voters aren't doing enough to rebel against this movement? But whatever your thoughts, let's talk about it.